Hello students, in today's video we are going to see interhalogen compounds. Now let us first understand what is the meaning of interhalogen compounds. Inter here means within and halogens means the 17th group elements, that is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. So, this is the ability of the halogens to form compounds among themselves. Those compounds, they are called as interhalogen compounds. Halogens react with each other. So, how I can define them? Halogens, they react with each other to form a number of compounds. And those compounds, they are called interhalogen compounds. Now, halogen is represented by X. So, when they will form the compound with the other halogen, the compound again will become X and X. So, to distinguish between the central atom and the connecting atom, we use the notation as X, X dash. So, this is how they are represented. Depending upon X dash atoms, we write here N. So, what is the general formula? What we use for interhalogen compounds is X, X dash N. Now, if I see the oxidation states of halogen, so halogens can have the possible oxidation states. You can refer to oxidation states video, students, to know how to assign the oxidation numbers of every group. So, they have +1, -1, +3, +5 and +7 oxidation states. So what will be the interhalogen compound range? What we can have here is X, X dash. This is the first type you can have. Second, if the oxidation state is 3, then the type of compound I can have is X, X dash 3. Similarly, X, X dash 5 and X, X dash 7. So this type of interhalogen compounds can be formed. Now, what can be the examples for such type of compounds? Here, under X, X dash, I can have ClF, that is chlorine attached to fluorine. Similarly, I can have bromine attached to fluorine, iodine attached to chlorine. So, this type of compounds, you can have IF, IBr, this type of compounds under X, X dash type. What can be the examples for XX-3 is ClF3, BrF3. So I hope you have understood how to form the compounds. You can have IF3, ICl3. So this type of compounds under this. I can have here ClF5, BrF5, IF5, here I can have IF7. So this type of interhalogen compounds we can get. Now the question is, you can see here that on this electropositive side, I have not written anywhere fluorine. So the question is, can I form Fi7, this type of compound? Please write your answer in the comment box. Can I form an interhalogen compound like Fi7? If no, why? So let us continue with this. When I am writing the interhalogen compounds, there must be a way to name the interhalogen compounds. So let us see the nomenclature. To name the interhalogen compounds. Students, if I split or if I take any one example, say for example, I take C, L and F. So out of those two, the halogen with the positive oxidation state, usually when I write a molecule like this side is your electropositive side and this is your electronegative side. So the electropositive oxidation state element name is written as it is. So what is the name here is, this I will write as it is. So this will be chlorine. And the electronegative side, that is this, I will write it as ide. So it will be fluoride. So what is the name for this is chlorine fluoride. So that is how I will name this. Let us take one more example. If I want IBr, so how I will name this? I'll keep this as it is. So this is iodine. This will become bromide. Now the question is, this is 1:1 ratio compounds, that is X dash. If I have this type of compounds, that is XX3. So let us take ClF3. Now how you will name this compound? For this I will keep as it is. So this will be chlorine. As this is fluoride, but there are 3 fluorine here. So I will write trifluoride. Let us discuss one more here. That is IF7. How I will name this? This is iodine pentafluoride. So this is how you give the nomenclature for interhalogen compounds. After the nomenclature, let us see how to prepare the interhalogen compounds. So let us see their preparation. The interhalogen compounds can be prepared by the direct combination or by the action of halogens on lower interhalogen compounds. The product form depends upon some specific conditions. Now let us see the examples how to prepare the interhalogen compounds. Now see how I am preparing the first interhalogen compound. Let's say for example I have to prepare ClF. Now which two halogens are there is chlorine and fluorine. So what will be the reaction? I'll simply write, because you know students that halogens, they are diatomic in nature and therefore they will normally exist in the diatomic form. So how I will write this? This will be Cl2 plus F2 gives ClF. And then I will balance the number of moles here. Specific temperature conditions you have to maintain. So the first reaction will be Cl2 plus F2 gives at 437 Kelvin 2 moles of chlorine fluoride. So this is the preparation. You can do this now students simultaneously with me. If I want to prepare ClF3. So what I see here, this will be Cl2 plus 3F2. Simply the moles here, I will write here and then I will balance the equation. So your equation is this. Temperature here, what is maintained is 573 Kelvin. So it will be Cl2 plus 3F2 gives 2ClF3. Next, let us try for a few more examples. If I want ICl3. How I will prepare this? First is iodine, so I will write I2 plus 3Cl2 and then I will balance this. Here we have to take this in excess. So this is conditions, of course, you have to maintain in order to get the products. So this is how you write the equations. Let us try a few more. If I want to prepare, let us mark the equation, student. So come to the next equation. We have to form BrF3. So it will be Br2 plus 3F2 gives BrF3. Very easy to write the equations. Let us prepare ICl. I and Cl. So iodine plus chlorine gives you 2 moles of ICl. Similarly, I can go for the next one, that is BrF5. How I will write this? Br2 plus 5F2 gives BrF5. Balance this now. This will give me 2 moles of this. One of the component you have to take in excess, because you know one of the reactant is limited and the other reactant is in excess. So this is how you write the formation reactions of interhalogen compounds. There are various ways to form interhalogen compounds. Some from interhalogen compound reacts with halogen to give a further next or higher interhalogen compound. So that type of reactions also you have. One of the best example what you have is ClF plus. Now if you want a higher interhalogen compound plus fluorine, so this will give you ClF3. So this is also one of the reaction, just a combination reaction. This takes place at nearly 475 to 575 Kelvin. So lower to higher interhalogen compounds. So let us see the type of hybridization and the geometry those interhalogen compounds will exhibit. For that, let us take the first example. Any one example you can have. I am taking this example, that is ClF3, and let us see what type of hybridization it will exhibit. So ClF3. Very easy trick to find out the hybridization and the geometry on the compounds. So what you have to do is, you have to see this, the central atom. Central atom is from 17th group, so it must have 7 electrons in its valence shell. So I will write here 7 plus the connecting monovalent atoms, they are 3. So the total comes out to be 10. I will divide this by 2, I get 5. If it is 5, students, you know that S has 1 magnetic orientation, P has 3, D has 5. So let us now distribute this 5 among this sp3d. So it will be sp3, 1 plus 3 is 4, remaining 1. So it will undergo sp3d hybridization. Now let us see the hybridization geometry. So this will be the hybridization. Now for geometry, you add up this 3 plus 1, 4 plus 1, 5. Subtract 2, so you get 3. The best geometry for 3 is a triangle. So this will be a triangle. And what you have subtracted, 1 up and 1 down. So the geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. But students, you know that if there is some lone pair present on the central atom, then it distorts the geometry. So let us check whether there are lone pairs present. So what you have to do is, you have to see this number and see this connecting atoms. Find the difference between this. The difference is of 2. Therefore, there are 2 lone pairs present in this molecule. Now, where to place the 2 lone pairs? When the geometry is of this triangular form, then the lone pairs, they are present at the equatorial position. Where is the equatorial position? Equatorial positions are those positions. So let us place the 2 lone pairs in this way. So I am placing the 2 lone pairs here in this way. Now what is left is this. Means the geometry will be, those are lone pairs, so the geometry will be something like this. This. What is the shape here, students? The shape here is T shape. But as the lone pairs, they are present here, they will push this bond pair down and therefore the geometry becomes bent T. So in case of ClF3, chlorine will undergo sp3d hybridization with bent T-shape geometry with 2 lone pairs. So this is how you will assign the hybridization and geometry on interhalogen compounds. So let us try for one more. So let us go for one out of this. I will go for BrF5. So in BrF5, how I will go for the hybridization now, students? So let us see the hybridization on BrF5. So how you will go for this? Bromine, I will take 7 plus the connecting monovalent atom is 5. So this will come to 12. Divide this by 2, you get 6. Now how I will write the hybridization here is sp3d2. 3, 1, 4 and 5, 6. Right? Now how to predict the type of geometry here? 3 plus 2 is 5 and 1, 6. Subtract 2 from it, so you get a square, and what you have subtracted, 1 up and 1 down. Now let us check the lone pairs if they are present. So find the difference between this 6 and the connecting atoms here. So the difference is of 1, so there is 1 lone pair. Now in this type of octahedral structure, the lone pairs, they are placed at the axial position, and so I will place the lone pair here. So the geometry will now get distorted, and this is not octahedral now, but the geometry will be square pyramidal. So this is all about interhalogen compounds. Now let us see some of the general characteristics of those interhalogen compounds. It is very important to note that interhalogen compounds, they are also covalent compounds, because if I take fluorine and fluorine, this is a covalent bond, but when fluorine is attached to Cl, that is ClF, so there is also a covalent bond. And as they are having covalent bonds, due to this, because the electronegativity difference, it decreases between the halogens. So they have low electronegativity difference between halogens. This is the first point. Their melting and boiling point will of course increase as the difference in the electronegativity will increase. Those compounds, they are volatile. Compounds, they are volatile. Most of them, they are unstable. But none of them is explosive. They are diamagnetic in nature. They are diamagnetic in nature. Now, if I see this, if I say a bond is present between F and F and a bond is present between F and Cl, then which bond will be stronger, students? The bond which is present here is stronger, while the bond here comparatively is weaker. Now, because of this, when the bond is weaker, then the particular molecule is more reactive. So, what I can say here that interhalogen compounds are more reactive as compared to the diatomic halogens. So, I can write that they are more reactive. Interhalogen compounds, they are also used as the fluorinating agent. So, we will come to the uses of this. Because of this reactive nature, they are strong fluorinating agents. So, let us see the uses of interhalogen compounds. The first, as I said, the uses here, they are used as fluorinating agents. Interhalogen compounds, they are used as, or I will write, they are used as non-aqueous solvents for most of the reactions. Here usually we use the compounds of fluorine like ClF3, BrF3. They are usually used even for making gaseous hexafluoride uranium, which is used in making enriching the uranium fuel. There also this is used. So other than this, ClF3 and BrF3, they are used as oxidizers in propellants. Very interesting thing is BrF3, this is also used as a Lewis acid. And most of these compounds, interhalogen compounds, they are also used in the preparation of polyhalides. So this is all about interhalogen compounds. Now you know what the halogens they are reacting with or among themselves and how we are getting so many types of compounds. So this is all about interhalogen compounds. Students, if you like this video, please subscribe my channel so that I can put up more videos on P-Block. Thank you, students.